Welcome to the All-Employee Annual Health and Safety Training. For this presentation, we will cover the following items on the agenda: Magna Health and Safety Policy and our commitment to safety, parking lot and entering the facility, personal health and accidents, emergency first response equipment, first aid cabinets, hazard identification and 5S, environmental responsibilities, severe weather and fire emergency, general safety, your right to know, flammable cabinet safety, ALICE training, general ergonomics, lockout tagout, and we will go over our employee charter. Safety is a core value at Magna Electronics Holly. Our belief is summarized in the safety policy. It focuses on providing a safe workplace engineered for safety, safe equipment, and associates working safely and looking out for one another. Here are some tips for parking lot safety and when entering the facility. In the parking lot, make sure that you wear proper shoes based on the weather and when walking in the parking lot to avoid slipping and falling. Observe your surroundings when exiting and entering your vehicle. Watch for uneven pavement that could be a tripping hazard. Do not cut through the parking lot while driving on the premise. Remember to look both ways before crossing a lane. Be mindful of employees walking to and from their vehicles, especially at night. Do not park in two spots or right on the yellow line. Do not use your phone while walking out in the parking lot, and make sure to drive the speed limit, which is posted at 15 miles per hour. When entering into the facility, there are no weapons permitted on the property. Magna's commitment to provide a safe and healthful workplace enforces a zero-tolerance workplace violence policy. This will be covered in more depth in an upcoming slide. No job is so important that we cannot take the time to do it safely. Each employee must be responsible and accountable for their own safety. We will continuously review our business to identify areas for improvement. Our goal is to have zero incidents, and we can only achieve this by working together. If you see something that may be unsafe, please say something. Personal health and accident procedures. Be aware of your personal health. Please report any prescription medication you may be taking to the HR department prior to starting your work. If the label indicates you should be cautious of driving or operating machinery, you must report. Please report illness that could affect you doing your job safely to the HR department. Any employee that is involved in or causes a work-related accident that requires medical attention or property damage totaling over $500 may also be required to take a drug screen. If you see someone having a life-threatening emergency, please call 911, and you can page a first responder. If an ambulance is required, a Magna employee will have to wait outside to direct paramedics to the injured employee. If you see someone having a non-life-threatening emergency, please page a Magna first responder. All MAVAC boards have the first responders listed by plant and shift. If you become injured at work, you must report the incident to your supervisor or team leader immediately. On this slide, we take a look at some of the emergency response equipment. Eyewash stations are located at the back of the manufacturing floor and by any fork truck battery charging stations or chemical storage rooms. If you need to use an eyewash station, get the help of a coworker or supervisor to help navigate or operate the eyewash station. If you need to use it, keep washing out your eyes for 15 minutes or until the fluid tank is empty. Do not tamper with or block eyewash stations. We want them to be functional in the event of an emergency. They're designed for one-time use, and always report the use to your supervisor. Sharps disposal containers are in all restrooms and at all first aid cabinets. Do not dispose of sharps in any office or plant trash receptacle. AED defibrillators. AEDs are located next to each Cintas first aid cabinet. Our AEDs have automated voice instructions in case you are unable to locate a first responder. They will not shock someone who is not experiencing a cardiac arrest event. If you take a look at this slide, you will see a layout of our facility. Our first aid cabinet stations and defibrillators are marked with a black box. Anytime you need supplies from the first aid cabinet, please make sure you are logging the items out. This is going to include your name, what you're taking, how the incident occurred, and where the incident occurred. If the item needed is not due to an injury that happened at work, please indicate non-work related on the log. This helps us to understand risks on site so that we can improve our safety. Hazard identification and 5S. The first steps in risk management is making an inventory of the hazards at our site. Magna Electronics Holly has a master risk assessment document that is reviewed at least annually. This includes materials, chemicals, machinery, equipment, tools, our processes, physical layout of the workstation, and human interface. Make sure that you are always aware of your surroundings. If you're unsure of the risks in your area, please take the time to ask a team lead or supervisor. No question is a dumb question. Knowing is power. For our 5S in housekeeping, this helps keep us safe. Sort, set, shine, standardize, and sustain. This means there's a place for everything and everything in its place. Environmental responsibility. What is ISO 14001? ISO 14001 is an internationally recognized standard and it is required by our customers. It's an internationally agreed upon standard that establishes the requirements for an EMS or environmental management system. It helps organizations improve environmental performance through more efficient use of resources and reduction of waste, gaining a competitive advantage and the trust of shareholders. The main purpose is to help control environmental risks and improve environmental performance. These risks are called aspects. Significant aspects include our electricity usage, biohazard waste, chemical waste management, and emergency generators for our site. So how do we reduce our energy use? We can shut down machines during extended non-production hours. We keep conditioned air in the plant by keeping the doors shut. We have an established air leak program to detect and fix regularly. Our HVAC thermostat and temperature setbacks during non-production hours, and sync sensors and proximity sensors for all conference rooms and office areas. Severe weather or fire emergency. If a tornado warning is in effect, the following will happen. First, an announcement of the warning will be made over the paging system by a supervisor. All employees are required to go to the tornado shelters immediately. Do not leave designated shelter areas until an all clear has been announced or communicated by supervision. These shelters are in all restrooms, 2 in the front of the production floor, 4 in the back of the production floor, 2 in shipping, 2 in receiving, 2 in the front office area, 2 near the cafeteria, and 2 near the labs. A sign bearing a tornado symbol identifies these areas, and each is equipped with emergency lighting. In the event of a fire emergency, the evacuation signal will pulse 3 times followed by instruction. Do not assume that this is a drill. Do not assume that this signal was rung by mistake. And most importantly, don't panic. Remain calm and walk to the nearest exit of the building. Proceed to the designated meeting point and locate your supervisor or team leader. Supervisors will then take a head count to ensure all employees are safely out of the building. Only Magna first responders and supervisors are trained and authorized to use fire extinguishers. General safety. Power outages. In the event of a power outage, employees should immediately hit the emergency stop button on their machine. This prevents potential injury if the power is restored. Do not gather your belongings as emergency lighting is on a battery. Employees must wait for additional instructions from their supervisor or team leader. Gas leaks. If you smell a natural gas odor, please let your supervisor or team lead know immediately. The supervisor will reach out to the appropriate contacts. If an evacuation is needed, exit the building and go where you can no longer smell the odor. Do not do the following near a gas leak or while exiting the premise. Do not turn off any equipment or light switches. Do not use your cell phone. Do not smoke, And do not get inside your vehicle and start your engine, as doing any of these tasks may cause a spark and an explosion. Unsafe acts versus an unsafe condition. An unsafe act refers to actions or behaviors that deviate from established safety protocols. These actions can range from disregarding safety guidelines to failing to use PPE correctly. These acts not only jeopardize the individual involved, but also pose risks to the entire workforce. An unsafe work condition refers to physical elements within the workplace that have the potential to cause harm, such as poor housekeeping, inadequate lighting or ventilation, malfunctioning equipment, improper handling of hazardous materials, hazards that increase the risks and dangers of accidents, conditions that present an immediate threat to health and safety, or failure to utilize necessary safety equipment. 88% of accidents and incidents are caused by unsafe acts. About 10% of accidents and incidents are caused by unsafe conditions, and the remaining 2% accidents are considered acts of God. PPE gear and bloodborne pathogens. Earplugs. Although it is not required to wear earplugs on the production floor, we provide them to all employees who feel the need to wear them in their work area. All lanyards must have a breakaway mechanism. Safety glasses must be ANSI rated for the Z87 standard and always worn on the production floor. Do not wear your safety glasses on the outside of your hat while on the production floor. For gloves, you must wear the appropriate gloves in your work area if applicable. Refer to the work instruction for further details. Bloodborne pathogens are infectious microorganisms in human blood and bodily fluids that can cause disease in humans. The purpose of this procedure is to reduce the risk of an employee being exposed to blood or fluids containing bloodborne pathogens. Transmission: fluids can be transmitted if assisting with a wound or cleaning a fluid spill. Injuring yourself with contaminated sharps such as scissors or needles. In the process, any employee should report any exposure to blood or body fluids immediately. Only first aid responders and facilities personnel are trained in cleaning up bodily fluids. Anyone who fails to follow safety programs, policies, and work standards are subject to disciplinary action, which may include termination. Machine guarding. Machine guards are barriers that prevent access to dangerous areas. There are 4 main types of machine guards: fixed, electrically interlocked, adjustable, and self-adjusting. Some types of guards may be adjusted to accommodate different sets of tools or kinds of work. However, once adjusted, guards should remain fixed and should not be removed or detached. Dangerous moving parts that need safeguarding are located in 3 primary areas: the point of operation, which is where the work is performed on the material; the power transmission apparatus, which includes pulleys, flywheels, belts and cables, gears and chains; and motion or moving parts. Safeguarding should protect employees from all other parts of the machine that move while the machine is working, including rotating, transverse moving parts, feed mechanisms, elevators, and robot motion. Do not bypass a guard. These guards protect you from pinch points and other risks. Equipment safety. Screw bowl covers. Do not remove the screw bowl cover off the machine. If the machine is jammed, page maintenance. Only maintenance is authorized to remove the screw bowl covers. Alumilifts. Do not operate an Alumilift unless you have been trained by your team leader. Other operators are not allowed to train other employees to operate an Alumilift. Fire extinguishers. Only trained first responders and supervisors are allowed to use a fire extinguisher. If you see a fire, notify your supervisor or team leader immediately and go to the designated fire evacuation meeting point. Do not go inside the building until the all clear has been given by management. Right to know. Per OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard, all employees have the right to know and understand the hazardous chemicals they are working with. Magna provides training on new chemicals and an electronic database for safety data sheets through Sphera, previously called SiteHawk. All Magna chemicals shall have labels that list the product's name, pictograms, precautionary statements, and hazard statements. There are 16 different sections on an SDS sheet. Important areas to be familiar with are the product name, emergency contact information, proper PPE gear to use, first aid measures, and hazard pictograms. The SDS sheets will list the following information: product name, signal words such as warning for the most severe or danger for the less severe, pictograms, pictures identifying the type of safety hazard, precautionary statements, which identifies preventative measures, how to respond, proper storage, and proper disposal methods, and the hazard statement, which identifies the potential hazard and severity. You may use the computer to access this information with the login information presented to the right. All chemical cabinets also have a quick reference guide of chemicals found in the cabinets. Handling chemicals. Before handling any chemical, read the label to see what proper PPE gear is needed to handle the chemical safely. All hazardous chemicals must be labeled with pictograms, signal words, hazard, and precautionary statements. Check the SDS datasheet if you are unsure how to handle the chemical properly. New chemicals. If a new chemical is used in your area, either the manager or team leader will discuss the SDS sheet with the affected employees during their pre-shift meeting. The affected employees should review and sign a training sheet acknowledging that they have reviewed the SDS sheet, know the potential hazards of handling the chemical, and know the PPE gear they need to wear when working with the new chemical. All chemicals must have a label, either the original label from the primary container or a label containing basic safety information for a secondary or portable container. If you find a chemical container that does not have a safety label, immediately make your supervisor or safety coordinator aware. The item should be pulled from the floor until it has a proper label. Flammable cabinet safety. Only store flammable chemicals in the cabinets. Do not store miscellaneous items such as rags and filters in the cabinet. Do not store anything on top of the cabinets. All flammable items must have lids on them and all labels must be facing towards you. All flammable cabinets shall be grounded. ALICE, or Active Shooter Awareness Training. ALICE stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. Page over the PA system or call 911 from a safe location. Be on your feet. Lock and block the door by using tables and chairs. Give as much information as you can. Do not give commands. As a last resort, create distance and throw things. And know your exits. Don't worry about getting your items. How to respond. Run or evacuate. Have an escape route and know your exits. Don't attempt to move the wounded. Prevent others from entering the area where the shooter may be. Keep your hands visible and listen to police commands. Do not have cell phones or any other items in your hands. Hide during lockdown. Hide in an area out of the shooter's view. Block the door with tables and chairs or whatever is available. Once the entrance is blocked, do not let anyone else in the room. Use a belt to tie the hinge so the door cannot open, and put your phone on silent and remain quiet. As a last resort, fight or counter, and only when your life is in imminent danger. If the shooter gets into the room, stay on your feet. Throw items at the shooter, extinguishers, staplers. Distracting the shooter can save you seconds and may allow other people in the room to overpower the shooter. If an active shooter is in the building and you are able to make an announcement over the paging system, enter the code listed on the phone and state the following as an example. Lockdown. Lockdown. Active shooter in plant 4 heading to south side of the building. Reporting an active shooter. When calling 911 or paging over the PA system, give as much information as you can. If you know the shooter, state their name. State what the person looks like. Male, female, tattoos, scars, accent. What kind of clothes is the person wearing? And what kind of weapons do they have? Multiple guns, knives, etc. Ways we have made Magna more safe. We've numbered the exterior doors, door 1 on the north side of the building through 15, which is in the front lobby on the west side of the building. Emergency stickers on all phones, listing paging codes and emergency phone numbers. We have prepared a Go Box for police. This provides police with a master key and badge, an employee matrix, and pictures, and our safety policies. Next steps coming in 2025 is an emergency alert system for cell phones, desk phones, and computers. Phones in all common areas for paging overhead in the event of an emergency. Most of these are now installed. We can all do our part by making sure that we do not let employees in without having them show their badge. All contractors must sign in to the shipping area. All other visitors must sign in at the main lobby. All contractors and visitors must be escorted by a Magna employee throughout the facility. And make sure to become familiar with the coordinates, north, east, south, and west. Visitors and police will not know where certain rooms are located within the building. Workplace violence policy. Any conduct that is intended to create a fear of bodily harm, actual physical injury, or property damage is prohibited. Prohibited behavior may include physical and/or verbal intimidation, threats of violent conduct, vandalism, sabotage, arson, use of weapons and/or carrying weapons onto company property, including parking areas. Offensive and/or threatening comments regarding violent events and/or behavior are also prohibited. Magna has established an emergency response plan for summoning immediate assistance when required. Magna reserves the right to inspect any locker, desk, work area, vehicle, bag, or other personal belongings during a policy violation investigation, or when the safety of others or company property may be at risk. Employees should immediately report any policy violation to their supervisor or HR manager. Employees who believe they are at risk in the workplace as a consequence of domestic violence are also encouraged to report those concerns to management so that appropriate precautions can be taken. And if an employee engages in prohibited conduct and is found to have violated the policy, management will act as they deem appropriate, which may include termination of employment. What to do in the event of a workplace violence event. Do not confront the aggressor. Evacuate the building if possible. Seek a safe area and call 911. Report any workplace violence events immediately to the HR manager and to your supervisor. Magna Electronics has a zero tolerance for workplace violence. General ergonomics. Magna Electronics Holly has an ergonomics committee that meets monthly and is dedicated to regular job safety analysis and assessments for continuous improvement efforts to eliminate the ergonomic risks associated with the jobs we do on site. This helps us prevent musculoskeletal disorders, which are conditions that affect the muscles, bones, and joints. Most commonly would be back pain, arthritis, osteoporosis, tendinitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, fibromyalgia, and bone fractures. We can help combat MSDSs if we think before lifting and handling, keep the object close to the waist, adopt a stable position. If you need to, set the item down and readjust. You do not want to flex the back any further while lifting. Lockout tagout safety. The purpose of having lockout tagout is to remove hazardous energy from a machine before it is being serviced. By definition, an affected employee is an individual who may operate or work near equipment but does not service or maintain it, while an authorized employee is an individual who performs the service or maintenance on a piece of equipment and would be responsible to lock it or tag it out. Things to remember. Affected employees should not attempt to restart or re-energize machines that are locked out or tagged out. If done, this can result in serious injury or even death for the person performing service on the machine. If you see an unauthorized employee trying to restart any locked or tagged equipment, contact the authorized employee and shift lead immediately. Any employee that is responsible for performing maintenance or service on a machine must first successfully complete lockout-tagout training for authorized employees, which includes requirements, procedures, and best practices for protecting working from hazardous energy during equipment maintenance. On this slide, we review our employees' charter. Magna is committed to operating philosophy which is based on fairness and concern for people. This philosophy is part of Magna's fair enterprise culture, in which employees and management share in the responsibility to ensure the success of the company. It includes these following principles. Job security. Being competitive by making a better product for a better price is the best way to enhance job security. Magna is committed to working together with you to help protect your job security. To assist you, Magna will provide job counseling, training, and employee assistance programs. A safe and healthful workplace. Magna is committed to providing you with a working environment which is safe and healthful. Fair treatment. Magna offers equal opportunities based on an individual's qualifications and performance, free from discrimination or favoritism. Competitive wages and benefits. Magna will provide you with the information which will enable you to compare your total compensation, including wages and benefits, with those earned by employees of your direct competitors and local companies your division competes with for people. If your total compensation is found not to be competitive, your total compensation will be adjusted. Employee equity and profit participation. Magna believes that every employee should share in the financial success of the company. Communication and information. Through regular monthly meetings between management and employees and through publications, Magna will provide you with the information so that you will know what is going on in your company and within the industry. The hotline. Should you ever have any problem or feel the above principles are not being met, we encourage you to contact the hotline to register your complaints. You do not have to give your name, but if you do, it will be held in strict confidence. Hotline investigators will respond to you. The hotline is committed to investigate and resolve all concerns or complaints and must report the outcome to Magna's Global Human Resource Department. Now that you have completed the annual health and safety training presentation, it is now time to take the 10 questions health and safety exam.